And a very good evening, hockey fans, and welcome to the Exchange Arena in Little Falls, where tonight it is boys high school hockey on Flyer Media Productions, as the Little Falls Flyers, with a record coming in tonight of 5-4, take on the Cambridge-Isanti Blue Jackets with a record of 2-6. Hello, everyone. James Hershey with you once again on Flyer Media Productions. Glad to be with you here on Channel 181 and also on YouTube. Joining me tonight, as you see to my right, is not Jamie Pettit, but is actually former Flyer alum, a graduate of last year, 2018, Andrew Marod, joining me in the booth tonight. And thanks so much for doing this tonight.
Oh, it's no problem. It's always fun coming back and watching the guys play and just being around the arena again. It's fun to be a part of what happened here and what's continuing to happen here. So
I guess the first thing we should do is ask what you're doing now. Obviously, you graduated last year and decided to go to Bethel College to play there, and you actually got to play hockey there as a walk-on, I've heard.
Yes, yeah. I was super fortunate to just come to school at Bethel, and it all worked out where I sat down with the coach. I reached out to him. He was like, yeah, come into my office. And we sat and talked for about 15 minutes, and he said, yeah, why don't you just come to captain's practices and you can just keep getting your feet moving, and then we'll see when tryouts come. And fast forward 6 weeks, tryouts came, and that whole week during tryouts I was able to walk onto the team, and he told me that Friday of that week that I made the team, and I was just like, wow, this is incredible. He told me that I was going to be the first walk-on at Bethel in 15 years.
That's awesome.
So it was just incredible. Like, I'm so blessed to be a part of such a great school and a great team. It's the funnest parts of my life right now. It's incredible.
So remember when we used to talk when we did our interviews, the one question I asked when you joined the varsity team, what was the difference between going from Bantams to varsity? What's the difference from going from high school to the Division III hockey?
Well, it's a pretty big jump because not everybody can do it. And obviously, like I said, I was the first one in 15 years to walk on. So all the other guys, they're 3 years, 4 years older than me. And it's incredible how big and like how much stronger they are, how much faster they move. So it's a really big jump. You have to be ready physically and mentally because the game is that much quicker.
One thing I was going to ask you, do you remember your stats as a Flyer at all?
Oh, geez. I really wanted to win. I wasn't really focused on my personal stats, but sheesh, I don't know for sure.
Take a stab in the dark?
Ooh, like career-wise?
Yeah.
Oh, gee. My guess would be right around like 60 points.
Okay, well, you're close. You had 65.
Okay.
You had 22 goals and 43 assists for 65 points in your 3 years.
So more than I thought.
Do you remember how many power play goals you had?
Oh, I'm going to go with like 3.
You had 5.
Oh, wow.
And shorthanded goals. Do you remember those?
I'll go with 3 again.
You had 2.
Oh, okay.
So, but still, that was awesome. And, obviously your brother, Daniel Marod, played before you. I think I looked his stats up really quick. He was around 25 points in his career and that. Yeah. And what is Daniel up to these days?
Daniel, he's actually going to Bethel with me. I guess you could say I'm going to Bethel with him because he's older. He gets that claim. But, no, he's in the nursing program there. He's in his 3rd year. But he is also playing baseball there, and he loves it. He really enjoys it. And we both are just very grateful to be able to attend such a great school with great people. And it's wonderful. We love it.
That's got to be cool. You got to play with your brother at least here for 1 year when you were a sophomore. He was a senior, and now you get to go to school together with him too.
Yeah, it's just kind of cool. You see him walking around in the hallways. It's like, oh, hey, how you doing? He's like, yeah. So, we really enjoy being at the same college together because, we just bump into each other every once in a while and we don't really plan for it. But yeah, playing with my brother was one of the greatest experiences I ever had because, obviously I never got to play with him growing up until my sophomore year and his senior year. But yeah, we bonded off the ice together, and we grew as people on the ice together. It was just really fun. We loved it.
That's awesome. Well, here you are tonight to watch the 2018-19 Flyers, and I know you got a chance to see them the other night. What have you seen about this team so far?
Well, the thing that really sticks out to me is obviously how young they are. I mean, they have, I don't know exactly how many sophomores they have, but I mean, they are a very young team. They don't have a lot of experience, but in my opinion, I think by the end of the year, they could be a whole new team when playoffs come, and they could really put a run together just because of how young they are. They have some good leaders in Josh Jennings and Devin Young and Lucas Rekstad off the ice, and they got solid goaltending and Dane Kuchar. So I really think that it'll all come together at the end of the year for them. Once they get a few more games under their belt and really start to figure it all out as a team, I think they can definitely make a run in the end.
You mentioned how many sophomores they have. They have 12 sophomores on the team, and you were a sophomore on the varsity level. How much of a challenge was that in the first 10 games for you?
You know, I really struggled trying to fit in right away. I didn't know what I was supposed to play like. I didn't have really a comfort zone. I was just kind of all over the place, and I was not really mentally ready for that level. But then as soon as I just scored my first goal in Fergus Falls, it was like the 5th or 6th game of the year, then I just really started to find my own, and I was able to settle down and just relax and play my game and focus on what I was good at, and then use that as my strengths.
Well, a lot of these guys are in their 10th game for the varsity on the sophomore side of things, and tonight some of the lines have switched up a little bit too. That's because there's some injuries that have happened, and over the last couple of days here, we've had Ethan Ballou with a separated shoulder. That happened in the game on Tuesday, and then also we had a deep cut by Mason Doble when he was playing over on the west side, rec side. So unfortunately, those guys are out of the lineup, so there has to be some changes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, everybody's got to be ready at some point. You never know when your name's going to get called, and you just have to be ready at all times. So, you know, good for these guys that are going to get to play tonight, but also at the same time, let's hope that they can all have a safe recovery.
All right, let's go down to Tim Brummer and get the starting lineups.
Sophomore defenseman number 38, Ryan Olson. Sophomore forward number 9, Nathan Scabilla. Sophomore forward number 22, Easton Parnell. And sophomore center number 28, Jacob Zebarth. Head coach of the Blue Jackets is Jared Zebarth, the Cambridge-Isanti Blue Jackets. And now, here's the starting lineup for your Little Falls Flyers. Sophomore goaltender, number 35, Dane Kuchar. Sophomore defenseman, number 7, Joe Majorly. Senior defenseman, number 20, Lucas Rekstad. Sophomore forward, number 9, Gabe Hirsch. Sophomore forward, number 33, Nicholas Stevens. And senior center, number 18, Josh Jennings. Assistant coaches, Bob Stark, Chris Dobus, Wes Wytoshik. Head coach of the Flyers in his 26th season, Mr. Tony Kuchar.
That's a look at the starting lineups for Cambridge and also for the Little Falls Flyers. And time now for our national anthem. Welcome back, and of course, if you look on the screen tonight and you look at the Flyers wearing different jerseys tonight as they have the gray jerseys out tonight. What do you think of that look, Andrew?
You know, I kind of like the gray look. I mean, it's a little different than anything else that we've ever wore, but you know, I like it, and you know, it pops out their numbers, and you know, you got the Flyer guy in the front, so I think it looks really good. I wish I could have worn one of those, but, you know, I mean, that's all right. But
that's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
The Flyer guy is the cool thing, though, isn't it? And that's something that I know that head coach Tony Kuchar really made sure that was something that is prevalent on the jersey.
Yeah, it represents more than just, you know, the Flyer guy. It represents Charles Lindbergh, you know. So, I mean, I think that's really cool that we do that, not only for him, but just for our whole community as a whole.
Absolutely. Taking a look at the starting goaltenders tonight for the visitors, Cambridge-Isanti Blue Jackets. In net is number 1, the senior Marcus Hansen. He's 1-3 on the year. Goals against of 7.25 and a save percentage of 79%. On the other side for the Flyers, Dane Kuchar in net. He's 5-4 on the year. Goals against a 2.6, save percentage of 88.6. The puck is down. We're underway with high school hockey right here on Flyer Media Productions. It'll be dumped down into the Blue Jackets end to start here. Quick out to pass there. That was Gabe Hirsch with it as he received that pass from Jennings. Hirsch in the corner. Puck taken away from him. And bumping a play there was Stevens. Now picked up by Hirsch. They send it towards the netminder Hansen. It'll go wide of the net there, and the loose puck picked up by Jacob Zebarth. Jacob plays it to the line, but not out as it's held in there by Rexstead. He'll fire it back down behind on the end wall. Briefly touched there by Hirsch, and the clear-out attempt here on the right wing side, and it'll pass up to center ice. Here's Majorly going back to pick up the loose puck, being shadowed there, heavily there by Easton Parnell. Held in at the right point, now shot coming in and actually hit the stick of Parnell as he knocked it down, never reached the net of Kuchar. Comes back out to center ice, and the loose puck picked up here by Gabe Hirsch, and he'll fire it down to the corner, and they'll have their first change of the game. Blue Jackets will bring it out to center ice. This gets through everyone. Should be an icing call coming up, and it will. With 15:54 to go in the first, scoreless, and right now, a quick pace to this game.
Yeah, a quick start for the Flyers. They got a couple opportunities out in front of the net there. Nice cycling down in the corner by Jennings and Stevens to get that puck out to Hirsch in front. Yeah, quick start. Let's hope they can keep it going here.
Puck held in here by Gunnar Gustafsson, one of those 12 sophomores we were talking about in the pregame show. Another one of those is Kaczynski Helgeson that had it for a short time. Now he has it once again to the corner. Centers a pass. Here's Philippi, and a shot on net. Save made there by Marcus Hansen. And we should talk about the 8th grader Matt Philippi. First time ever that head coach Tony Kuchar in his 26 years has brought up an 8th grader, and he's playing very well in his first 9 games.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's leading the team with 10 goals. I mean, he's doing everything that he can out there, and it's really cool to watch him as an 8th grader be able to play at this level and just be able to find his own game even in the midst of, you know, some adversity. You mentioned, we talked about the sophomores having to be comfortable. How about a one-year Bantam player that all of a sudden has to come up and play varsity? Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And, you know, like you said, he's the first one in 26 years. So, I mean, it's good that he doesn't feel a lot of pressure about that because he can just go out there and play his own game and not have anything to worry about. There's a shot taken there as that was off the tape there of Dempsey, and then a turnaround shot by Philippi goes wide. Back out to center ice it comes. Puck picked up here now by Gunnar Gustafsson. He'll pass it up to Kaczynski Helgeson. Intercepted at the blue line of the Blue Jackets, and they will dump it in. That's Parnell dumping it back. Goes to the end wall, played around there by Kuchar. Flyers will try to bring it out to center ice, and that is Devin Young. Young gets it over to Philippi, dumps it in. They'll go off on a change. 14:40 to go here in the first. No score between Cambridge-Isanti and Little Falls and boys high school hockey. Nice job of stepping up there as Rexstead takes a shot. And that one, I believe, hit traffic before it ever reached the netminder, Marcus Hansen. Puck in the circle now here. Back turnaround, quick shot by Nolan Bjorgi on net. And Marcus Hansen, once again, the netminder makes the save and holds on with 14:25 to go in the first. No score, shot so far 2-0 in favor of the Flyers. Yeah, it looks like the Flyers are running a nice forecheck right now. They're getting bodies and they're creating turnovers and creating scoring chances in the slot. There's another one just there. Yep, Bjorgi took that shot, just missed it wide. Bjorgi now on the end wall, bumped off the play, gets some help over here by Buckaloo. Ryan Buckaloo getting a chance to play in that third line.
as he's out there. Back to the point now it comes to Rexted. Rexted with a shot, hit traffic in front, caroms to the end wall, picked up by Buckaloo in the left corner. He leaves it there. Devin Young now puts a check on and then picks up the loose puck in that corner. Cycles around now looking to pass it back to the point. He gets it now to Rexted. Rexted throws it to an open wing. Finally filled into the corner there by Bjorgi. Bjorgi waits, passes it back now to Rexted. Rexted now takes a shot, nearly tipped in front there by Young. Sliding through the crease and picking it up there. That time was Ballou. Gets it back to the point to Marshall Inez. His shot well wide of the target. Ballou trying to get into that corner first, and he does. Trying to dig it out of there also is Devin Young, the senior. Now he gets it to Bjorgi. Bjorgi sends that one right across the blue paint to the right wing side. Marshall Inez keeps it in. Flyers are going to change up two guys while they still have pressure on the offensive side of things. Played to the line, not out yet. Is Rexton able to keep it in? Hirsch now gives it to Jennings. Shot at net, save there by Hansen. Rebound by Jennings. Another shot and another save by Hansen. Jennings now in the corner. Picked up here by Hirsch. Passes it now down low. That time is that is Stevens trying to jam it in on the side. Saved by Hansen. Rebound is loose, and it finally comes out into the corner. Picked up briefly there by Lucas Olson for the Blue Jackets. They're struggling here, and they about at least a minute and a half it's been down in their zone. Another shot on net. Hansen makes another save. Jennings once again sends it behind. Trying to come up and pick up that loose puck that time is Ryan Olson for the Blue Jackets, unable to do so. Now they'll play it to the line, not out. Rexted keeps it in. Shot on net, he scores! All that pressure, Andrew Marod down in that end, and they come up with a goal as Lucas Rexted picks up the goal, and that is his third of the season.
Wow, just a great all-around forecheck for that Flyers first line. They were buzzing down there. They got bodies, they got the puck, they gave it to the point, and Lucas was fortunate enough to get a nice screen out in front of the net so he could roof the tendy. Nice shot by Lucas.
I love the verbiage, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
that was
tendy.
good. I like that. I like that.
That's some college hockey slang.
I like it a lot.
Flyer goal scored by number 20, Lucas Rexted. Unassisted goal at 4:25 in the first period.
Here comes Cambridge-Isanti right back on the attack, though, and Dane Kuchar has to make a big save there. Otherwise, this game's 1-1.
Yeah, big save by Dane there.
Out at center ice now. Philippi passes it off to Kaczynski-Helgeson. He'll go in behind the netminder Hansen. Puck is intercepted here by Cambridge-Isanti and picked up there by Zebarth. Puck is lost. There's a chance out in front, and that one tipped just wide on a little give and go that time between Philippi and Gustafson. And Gustafson just, I don't think, got all of that one, and it just went off the tape. And now we get a whistle and a stoppage of play here. And I think it might have been played actually off of the Cambridge bench here, and that's why we get the whistle face-off back down in the Cambridge-Isanti end. But once again, third goal of the season scored by Lucas Rexted, and it's 1-0 Flyers.
Yeah, and just shortly after, I mean, Cambridge-Isanti almost had a nice scoring chance there. That very fortunate to have Dane back there making a good save. Sometimes it's hard when teams like that respond right away and then they just stay in the game for the rest of the game. So big save by Dane there. Let's hope we can keep this pressure going here.
Played out to center ice by the Blue Jackets. Puck picked up by Majorly. Rink wide now over here to Dempsey. Up to Dempsey. Comes across the line. Goes into the right corner. Little poke check there that time. Nice job by Blake Carlson for the Blue Jackets. Can't clear it out of the zone, though. And now the 8th grader Philippi goes behind. Sends it out, and that might have actually tipped off of Hansen, the goaltender. But luckily for Cambridge, it goes back behind. Played still in the zone here by Dempsey and the Flyers. Up to the line, held in by Majorly. Gets it down low now to Young. Goes into the corner, bumped off the play. Gets it right back to his stick. Plays it back to the left point. Majorly with a shot. That one just fired wide. Here's Blue coming off the bench. Buckaloo off the bench. And he fanned on that opportunity there. Unable to get it out of the zone yet is Cambridge. Still playing it now in the corner here of the Flyers. Glove down at the right point. Touched there by Dempsey. He'll fire it into the open corner. First to get over there, at least to play it there, was Owen Jarvala. Jarvala now lost the puck, gets it to Majorly. Shot on net, save made there by Hansen. Rebound is loose, comes out to Bjorgi. Backhand attempt. Another save there by Hansen. Here's another chance by Majorly. Another save by Hansen. Puck is loose. Another save there by Hansen. That time to rob Devin Young of 4 shots in about 15 seconds the Flyers had. And the senior goaltender, Marcus Hansen, saves all 4 of them.
Yeah, Nice job by Devin Young there to look for the point and get the puck out to the point, and then we're continuing to get shots through the point to the goalie.
It's okay.
There's that tender slang again, but yeah, we're getting shots through, and that's a big thing, so we can get some rebounds and create some scoring chances.
You don't have to change here. You can say whatever you want, okay? It's all good. It's all good. You got all the lingo down. That shot, by the way, just Marshall Inez went off a Cambridge-Isanti stick and went off the short ceiling here. Is the Bethel Arena, does that have a higher ceiling than Exchange Arena?
Yeah, it's pretty high. I'd say it's probably 25 feet above the ice. So, I mean, we have a little bit more room to clear the puck.
So you can have a little more saucer passes a little through the air. Here, it's a little tougher to do, isn't it?
I guess so, yeah. Not sure how often that actually happens in a game, but we'll see.
The home run pass?
Yeah.
Going for the Hail Mary. Here's another one that goes off the ceiling once again as it is deflected up and out of play. Faceoff should stay in the Cambridge-Isanti zone. With 9:48 to go here in the first, 1-0 is our score. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was just going to say that, and as you can see, the Flyers have 13 shots on goal in the first about 10 minutes or so, or 7 minutes, excuse me. And I think the biggest thing right now is the turnover margin. I mean, I think the Flyers are creating a ton of turnovers right now, and I mean, Cambridge just can't handle the pressure defensively. So if the Flyers keep creating pressure on those defensemen, we'll keep scoring goals here. So we'll see.
How difficult was it for you to go from 17-minute periods to 20-minute periods in college?
It's different because obviously that 3 minutes does matter, and at the end of the game, it's 9 minutes total. So it's a big difference, and especially the pace. You have to be ready for that full 60 minutes every night, and sometimes it's really hard because obviously a lot of those teams are very good.
Were you on the team when they did play a few 20-minute periods at the holiday tournament? It was like 3 or 4 years ago I thought they did that here.
I don't think I did.
I don't think you did either, but there was, I know they did that. I think the high school league let them do that if they wanted during a holiday tournament to play 20-minute periods, but here out at center ice now comes Cambridge-Isanti. That's Parnell, and the puck taken away from him from Stevens, and Cambridge picks it back up once again. And they'll dump it in. Shabilla will dump it in deep for the Blue Jackets. Played around the boards here and picked up here by Gabe Hirsch. His outlet pass too strong there for Stevens. And the Blue Jackets play it back out to neutral ice. 8:15 to go here in the first. 1-0 is our score. The goal scored by Lucas Rexted, the senior captain's third of the year. Played to the left of the netminder. Dane Kuchar comes out in that left circle now. It was briefly touched there by Zebarth. Center and a pass now. That out to the right point it comes. Shot on net. That one clanks off the side of the net there as that shot came off the stick of Blake Carlson. Carlson keeps it in once again. Gets it down to Parnell. Quick shot save made there by Dane Kuchar. And there's a penalty coming up as a slash there by Shabilla. And he'll go into the box for 2 minutes. And we'll have our first power play of the night.
If the Flyers could improve on one thing right now, it's blocking shots. They're getting a couple shots getting through to Dane there. But if they can get in front of those shots, then Dane doesn't have to have a lot of that pressure on him.
Is there an art to blocking a hockey puck shot? Because, obviously some of these guys shoot pretty hard.
Yeah.
So is there an art to protect yourself but yet still make a good block and also keep yourself in position? Yes.
So one of the big things that, I think I'm being taught both at Bethel, and I was also taught very well here. It's very important that you keep your stick in front of you while you're blocking the shot and leading with one hand.
Okay.
While
that makes sense.
Then you can maintain a good body position in front of the puck, and you can be able to block that shot with your stick or your body because you're in position and you're in that shot lane, so that defenseman can't see an opening to the net.
That makes sense. On the power play are the Flyers. Here's Jennings. That shot just went wide. 17.5% are the Flyers on the power play. They're 7 of 40. Penalty kill 73.7% for the Cambridge-Isanti Blue Jackets. They're 28 for 38, and they have given up some shorthanded goals, or scored shorthanded goals, I should say. They've scored 5 shorthanded goals this year. They've also given up 5 shorthanded goals when they've been on the power play. Flyers have yet to give up a shorthanded goal. Still About a minute left on the power play here. 6:35 to go. Fanning on it with Stevens. Gets it back, fires a shot, and just getting a piece of that one was the netminder Hansen. That looked like it was about ready to tickle the twine.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
There's another shot on that. That one blocked right in front, and that one stung right there, too, Ryan Olson, as he scampers over to the bench for the Blue Jackets. Back out to center ice it comes now. Picked up here by Gunnar Gustafsson. He'll play it off here to Kaczynski Helgeson. Back to Gunnar Gustafsson. Gustafsson shot on net. Save made there by Hansen. In the corner now. Played here by Kaczynski Helgeson. Save is made. Then bull rushing. Kaczynski Helgeson there on Hansen. And one of the Cambridge-Isanti players didn't like that and kind of slashed him in the back.
Yeah, on that first power play, they have the puck on the right side of the boards here, and they're working it up the wall. And one thing that I think they can do better is they can look to that weak side defenseman, George Moore. He's had a couple lanes to the net where they could have passed it across, and he would have had a great scoring opportunity. So we'll see what they can do here on the second power play unit.
Here's Gustafsson with a shot that fires wide. Held in at the right point by Majurley. Got it down low to Kaczynski Helgeson. It's in the slot area. Played up to the line. Penalty time is expired, and we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. So 0 for 1 on the power play are the Flyers tonight. Dumped all the way in the corner. Philippi got there first. Now Gustafsson has it in that corner. Trying to dig it out of there. Helping out there is Gustafsson. Gets it back to the point, but too strong to handle there, as it was played there by Majurley. Majurley dumps it back in once again down in the Cambridge end. Played around the boards, not out of the zone yet. Held in at the left point. There by Majurley, partially fanned on it. Now he'll walk it into the half wall. Goes into the corner there. That is Kaczynski Helgeson with it. He turns it over there, but they can't clear it out of the zone out of the Blue Jackets. Held in at the left point there by Young. Young plays it in the corner now to Philippi. Back now to the left point. Falling down, there's Majurley. Gets back up, fires a shot, and fires it right into the charging now Shabilla. Here comes Shabilla on a partial breakaway, and Shabilla got pulled down from behind. Wow, no penalty there. And never getting a shot off was Shabilla either. Not sure how irate the coaching staff is over here for Cambridge, but that looked like that probably could have been a penalty.
Flyers were fortunate enough to get a break there.
There's Rexted with a shot. He's already got a goal, and Hansen makes a save there. Rexted gets it back, fires another shot, hit traffic in front. Rexted has it again. He'll play it into the corner this time. That's where Blake Carlson has it. Held in by Rexted once again. Now to played behind here by Buckaloo. Buckaloo had it for a short time. Gives it to Young. Young, no-look pass. Back out to the point. Shot taken there by Rexted, and it goes off the skate. Down to 4 minutes to go here in the first period. Still a 1-0 lead for Little Falls. Shots are 22-3 in favor of the Flyers, but they only lead 1-0. Pass over to Buckaloo. Shot. Save is made. Puck is up in the air. Bounced in the blue paint for a short time, and then played back out to center ice.
This Flyers forecheck is all over their defense right now. They are playing very well on the forecheck. They got to keep that going throughout this rest of this game in order to keep those scoring chances happening.
How frustrating, though, is it a player when you have 23 shots and only 1 goal?
That is frustrating. That is very frustrating, especially when you know you have those opportunities and you just can't bury. It's super frustrating sometimes because you're like, wow, that was such an easy opportunity. I should bury that every time.
And to think that Cambridge is only 1 shot away from tying the game.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's just the way the game of hockey works.
It is. Here comes Bjorgi coming across the blue line. He's bumped off the play nicely there by Carlson, and Blake Carlson picks up the loose puck, rings it around the glass all the way down. Icing coming up here with 2:53 to go here in the first, and they have the clock continue to run here until about 2:50. 1-0 is our score, as the Flyers' lone goal once again came from that shot from the point by the defenseman Lucas Rexted, his 3rd of the season, 4th of his career. Face off in the right circle, one here this time by the Blue Jackets. This is Gavin Zebarth. He'll play it out to center ice. No, he won't. It'll be held in there by Dempsey, and now it is played out by Zebarth to center. Dumped in here now this time, as that's Jacob Zebarth. I was told they were cousins. They're not brothers, if I remember right on that. There's an 8th grader, the goaltender, that's brother is also one of the Z-Bars. There's a chance down low. Rebound and a point-blank shot there by Stevens. And Hansen comes up with yet another save.
Big save by Hansen there on that 2-on-1. He kicked the rebound right out to Stevens, but made a great recovery save.
Yeah, Jennings had a good shot there, and it bounced right off, and Stevens looked like he was going to hammer that one home, and he didn't. And a nice save as we're down to 2 minutes to go here. Here's a chance down low. Clanked it off the pipe. Rebound there by Parnell, and he can't get a shot off as that shot came from, once again, Shabilla as he clanked the far post. Shabilla has it out at center ice now. Trying to move it ahead for the Blue Jackets. This is Blake Carlson with it. Carlson falls down. Still maintains possession of the puck in his own zone. Down to 1:30 to go here. Puck taken away now. Here's a chance down low by Gustafson. Fires that one wide. Gustafson hit from behind. And a penalty coming up here on the Blue Jackets. Once that happens, probably going to be a cross check. And it'll be an interference call instead. But still, it'll be a power play with just 1:18 to go here. And the penalty looks like it is going to go against Blake Carlson as he'll go to the box. 2 minutes for interference.
Looks like the second power play unit for the Flyers are coming out onto the ice here. Let's see if they can involve that weak side defenseman Rekstad. If he can come down to about the dot and get maybe a passing lane from Majorly or Gustafson on that far side.
All right, Rekstad plays it back to Majorly. One-timer there by Gustafson, and the save is made by Hansen. Gustafson playing in that left circle. Majorly now thought about taking a shot, and it goes off a stick, caroms into the safety netting. And we get a whistle to stop the play of the 1:01 to go here in the first period. Still 1:44 to go on the penalty time. That the penalty, once again, interference by Blake Carlson for Cambridge.
I don't think Gustafson has to take that one-timer there. I think he's got a lot more room to come in and skate there and get a better shot. He's got a great shot, but I think he can be a lot more lethal here if he walks in.
Well, there he does walk in now inside the dot there and does take the shot, just like you said, and a better shot and a nice save.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to create a lot more opportunities by skating in. I mean, obviously you might get a nice rebound from one-timer, but at the same time, you're going to have a much more high percentage shot if you're coming in, especially if you keep your feet moving and keep that puck moving at the same time. The goalie's going to have a tough time saving that puck. Here he is in one-timer again.
One-timer again, and that one is going to be, they're going to blow it dead here as there is somebody in the crease. Face-off going to come out. What I was going to say, though, is when you're doing that one-timer, do you want to be on the outside of the circle, or do you want to be at least maybe in the middle of the circle, or do you need that separation for that?
You know, I think if you're going to take a one-timer, I think ideally maybe about the top of the circles, or maybe in between the dot and the top of the circles. I really think, perimeter shots aren't going to do the Flyers much good unless, obviously, they have good traffic out front. But I think Gustafson does have a lot more room to come in and skate and take a better shot.
The guy that does it great in the NHL is Alex Ovechkin. I mean, he's got that spot perfect. And here's a shot to score right in that Ovechkin spot by Jennings. And Jennings did that in the Mound Westonka game on Saturday. They set it up for Crank a one-timer, and he got it to work again.
And there he was. He was right in between the top of the circles and the dot. Perfect shot, perfect placement. Great job by Jennings, and a good look by Gustafson there on the feed.
They exactly set up that play at Mound Westonka. And on the power play, and the same setup again, and this time Jennings scores again. And for Josh, it's his fourth of the season, and it's got to be tough for Josh because he was a defenseman for 3 years. Now he's moving to forward. You know what that's like, don't you?
I do, yeah. I was a forward my sophomore year on that second line, and then my junior year I actually.
Assist to number 15, Gunnar Gustafson. Time of the goal.
As Gustafson getting the assist to the goal by Jennings. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was saying, my sophomore year, I was able to play second line center, and then junior year, Hunter Swanson, one of our best defensemen coming into the season, had that ankle surgery. So I actually moved back to defense, and I just wanted to do whatever was best for the team. I wasn't so focused on my individual play. I wanted to be what's best for the team, and then my senior year, I was able to play forward again. So. It all worked out in the end, but obviously, I wanted to do what was best for the team, and I think me playing defense was.
Well, and I tell you what, we said you're 65 points. If you would have been a forward, you probably would have had a lot more points, too. Here's an opportunity at the end. The shot just missed wide, and that will do it. And the first period comes to an end, and wow, Andrew, 27 shots for the Flyers. can you recall any games where you guys had 27 shots in one period?
Oh, boy. I mean, the one that would come to my mind is maybe North Branch my sophomore year. I think we beat them 11-0, and we had a ton of shots, and it didn't really leave their zone very much. So that'd be my guess, but still at the same time, Flyers are playing very well right now, creating a bunch of opportunities and playing very well.
Well, if Jamie Penner was here, he'd have been scrolling through his book trying to figure that out. But he's not here tonight, so we don't have to worry about that. So, hey, let's get a recap of the first period here before we take a little break. And I believe they're going to have a squirt game or something being played in between here, maybe even a peewee game. Ice mite game. But let's talk about briefly the first period and the domination of the shots, but only getting 2 goals. Of course, one was a nice blistering shot on the power play, and then the other goal, an even strength goal by Rexstead.
Yeah, and, got to give it to the goaltender. That senior goalie, Hansen, he's playing very well right now. He's controlling his rebounds, and he's kicking them to the corners. Obviously, he had one bad one where it went right to Stevens, but he made a great save, and they were able to come out of a breakout. But other than that, he's playing very well. I think that their defense are getting pretty beat up back there, so they'll have to figure something out on that end. But other than that, you got to give it to the Flyers. I mean, their forecheck is just insane right now.
All righty, as you're seeing here, the Ice Mites are going to, I think, come out here. Is that who it is?
I believe so, yeah. I think it's the Ice Mites.
So the Ice Mites are going to come out here and have a little short little hockey game here as they got all the players out here for the Flyers to kind of line up and watch them for a few minutes. That should be a lot of fun.
And this is what these kids dream about every night. I remember when I was a young kid, I'd watch, the Hanowskis, the Fesslers, and I wanted to be just like them. And I remember being in these kids' shoes, playing on a stage like this. It's, you have all the nerves and you want to score. It's really fun.
They put 6 minutes up on the board, and it's just a scrum. No goaltenders. See whatever happens where that puck goes. So a lot of fun here at the rink. One period is complete. 2-0 is our score. We'll let you enjoy the game on the TV for a little bit. We will take a break. We'll come back in a little bit with more play-by-play coverage and also a summary of that first period. Once again, 2-0 is our score. The Little Falls Flyers leading Cambridge-Isanti. Enjoy the Ice Mites right now. Welcome back on Flyer Media Productions. James Hershey along with Andrew Marod as boys high school hockey tonight here on Channel 181 and also on YouTube. 2-0 is our score as the Little Falls Flyers lead over the Cambridge-Isanti Blue Jackets. I just noticed they changed the shot total to 35 now. It was originally 27, so now they've switched it to 35, so they've added an additional 8 shots.
Well, my goodness. I mean, it doesn't matter the number. I mean, the Flyers are just putting constant pressure on the goalie and their D zone. I mean, it's incredible. Regardless of the shot total, you know, the Flyers are just buzzing in the offensive zone, and I think it's really they're putting a lot of pressure on Hansen and their defense. So we're going to see what happens these next 2 periods, but hopefully they can keep that up and keep it rolling here for the next 2 periods.
Scoring summary, first of all, for the Flyers, scoring his 3rd of the season at 4:25 of the period was Lucas Rexted to make it 1-0. And then Josh Jennings scored a power play goal, his 4th of the season, that coming at 16:28 of the period. Gunnar Gustafsson gets the lone assist. There were 2 penalties in the period, both against Cambridge-Isanti. The Flyers were 1 for 2 on the power play. And as we mentioned, the shots originally when we left the air, it was 27-4. Now they've added shots. It's now 35-7. So they've switched the shots on both sides a little bit here and made them a little different. So that's how the period ends as we're about ready for period number 2. If you're Cambridge-Isanti and you see you have 35 shots against you and you're only trailing 2-0, you actually have to feel pretty good.
I mean, yeah, you got a good goaltender behind you. Hansen playing very well tonight. But one thing that Cambridge can now do is they can now clog the middle, so the Flyers have to take more perimeter shots and stay away from the middle of the ice where they can get some high percentage scoring opportunities. So if Cambridge can force them to the outside, they can just keep hanging around in this hockey game and hopefully keep creating, well, maybe create a scoring chance in the Flyer zone when they can.
A couple of scores to pass along. Girls hockey tonight, Brainerd Little Falls and Bemidji. They're tied at 1 after 1 period of play. That is up at the Essentia Health Sports Center. In boys hockey, River Lakes right now leading Wadena Deer Creek by a score of 2-0, that late in the 2nd period. And a score down in Laverne, St. Cloud Cathedral leading Laverne right now 2-1 after 1 period of play. Of course, their head coach, which is Brown, he's going back to where he used to coach down in Laverne, so he's down there at least tonight for that game as they, once again, lead by a score of 2-1. They're ranked number 1 in the state in Class A, the Crusaders of St. Cloud Cathedral. All right, the puck is down, the 2nd period underway, and the Flyers right away off the draw just had a shot that fired wide, and now they have it back in their own end. This is Rexted. He'll play it up to center ice, and out of the reach there of Hirsch, it comes in on the netminder Hansen. He'll play it away. Then right back on the stick of Hirsch. Hirsch then kind of had it roll off his tape. Never got a good shot on net. Hirsch has it back, passes it in the slot area. Here's Rexted with a shot, and that one just fired wide. As we're in the opening minute here, and still 2 shots towards the netminder, but both of them wide. Back to the point now it comes to Majerle. Majerle fires a shot. That one whistled just wide once again. Here's now Kaczynski-Helgeson. Back over to Majerle. Now back over this time to Rexted. Fires a shot. That one whistled wide once again. Held into the right point. That was Majerle down low. Touched there by Philippi. And Kaczynski-Helgeson has it on the left wing side. Plays it back to the left point. Rexted another shot wide. Well, the first period they had shots on net. This period they've had about 4 shots wide so far in the opening minute 30, Andrew.
Yeah, and earlier you mentioned Gabe Hirsch in front of the net there, just having it roll off the stick. I think he hesitated a little bit, and he had a very high scoring chance there, and I think if he just would have bared down a little bit there and got the shot off, he could have gotten a goal there. But we'll see here. The Flyers are obviously still maintaining possession here, and let's see if they can create another scoring chance.
Yeah, in fact, one of the Cambridge-Isanti players came off and now actually in on the play. Moving in is Brody Nelson. Brody Nelson is actually the backup goaltender. He actually has played 4 games as a netminder. He's 1-3, and he's out as a skater. You don't see that very often, do you?
You know, in high school hockey, I guess anything can happen, and I guess, you know, that's a perfect example. I mean, your backup goalie playing second line for you. I mean, that's pretty crazy. That's a new one for sure. Well,
he's a senior and he's a captain, but he's getting a chance to play out there on the line right now. As Talking with their coach, Jared Zebarth, he said they did have some sicknesses and some injuries, so I think that might have been one of the reasons why they had to juggle the lines a little bit. Because actually they only are running 2 lines, and then they have a couple of guys on the 3rd line, and the center comes back from the 2nd line and plays on the 3rd line too. So when you run into those kind of situations, you got to do whatever you can do.
Yeah, and I mean, good for him for being a leader, stepping up and saying, hey, I'm going to do this for my team. I think that's very important for a team to know that you got some good leadership on your team. I think it's really cool that he's doing that.
Out to center ice. This comes Young with it. He'll come across the blue line. Young moving in. Shot, and he rings it around. I think it's in. It's a goal. And it is 2-0. Shooter's touch there, Andrew Marod, and the goal scored by Devin Young, his 3rd of the season.
I think that hit the short side post here, and it came straight up, and I think it hit the top of the netting. Then it popped out. It looked like it didn't go in at first, but I think you could see the top of the net move a little bit there, signaling a goal. So great job by Devin there, using his feet there. I mean, he's a fast skater when he gets going, and I think he's got to do that a lot more this year in order to create a lot more opportunities.
Devin Young gets the unassisted goal. As I mentioned, for Devin, his 3rd of the year. And here's now Buckaloo with a shot fired wide. Carry him off the boards. Now, of course, if you're playing at the MAC, that would have been like a pinball off the boards. Well, those were springy boards, weren't they?
Oh, they sure were.
We're talking about the MAC in St. Cloud. Here, these boards are not as springy, so you don't, if you fire a shot wide of the target, chances are it's not going to bounce right back in one of the circles.
The only chance that would really happen is if you shoot it into the Zamboni door and where it kicks out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen that happen a couple times. It's happened to me a couple times junior year when I'd be going back for a puck and it hit the boards and it'd pop right back out. So that was kind of tough. But I mean, I think that's the only really kicky spot we have in our boards. So
I was going to say, last night actually in the girls' game, one of the girls' sticks got caught between the Zamboni doors that open up.
Yeah,
and just stuck in there, and then literally they just had to skate away as the referee pulled it out as she went to get a different stick.
Lots of sticks are broken by that little crack in that door.
It's amazing the little nuance of that. But what other, I guess, things in this arena are different maybe, or that gives you an advantage for being a Flyer player compared to an opponent?
I don't really notice too much. I think one thing that would stick out the most, I guess, is that Zamboni door. I think a lot of other rinks, like, they don't have that like crack in the boards or other things like that. But hey, that just adds to the arena's character,
It does.
I mean, that's what it's known for, remembered by. So pretty cool.
Inside of 13 minutes to go here in the second, and a 3-0 lead is that latest goal scored by Devin Young, the senior, his 3rd of the season. Played back now once again. Behind the netminder Hansen down in the Cambridge-Isanti end. They'll play it out to center ice. Here's that backup goalie Nelson coming across the line as he passes it there to Bauer. And it's intercepted by Stevens. Stevens carries out of his own end. At center ice, comes across the blue line. Shot on net. Glove save made there by Hansen. And he holds on with 11:50 to go here in the second period. 3-0 is the score. So you're playing in the MIAC, obviously, for hockey. What is the rivalry, I guess, that Bethel has, one of their bigger rivals when it comes to the hockey side?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest rivals that we have is when, a big team like St. John's or St. Thomas comes to town. I think all the guys are pumped up for those games because those guys are usually always at the top of the division. They usually get a lot of good recruits that go there. So I think whenever they come to town or whenever we go there, we know that we're in for a good battle that night, and we got to play our best in order to try to win the game. So I think those two teams for sure, and then another pretty big rival that we've had in the past is Concordia. Concordia and Bethel, they've had some really big battles in the past, and I think we tied them this year and we lost to them. So. Unfortunate for us, but next year we should be able to get them, and hopefully in the playoffs we'll get another crack at them too. So they're a pretty good rival for us.
Now, does everybody make the playoffs, or do you have to be in the top 6 or whatever to make the playoffs?
I think it's top 6.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure. I think the first.
You just play the games, right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I had no idea what I was getting into, so I show up, I put in my work, and go from there. But No, I think the top 16, the top 6 teams, excuse me, make the playoffs, and the first 2 seeds get a bye.
They get a bye. I think that's how that works. Now, do they do a Thanksgiving tournament too? Or do they used to do? I think like they call it like the turkey trot or something like back in the day.
Yeah, I think they used to. I don't know if
do they do that anymore?
We didn't do it this year.
That just shows you how old I'm getting. I mean, it's it's been a long time since I've seen MIAC hockey, but I remember when I went to school down at Winona State, St. Mary's. Do they still have a team?
Yep. They're still in our conference. Yep.
Back then, in that late 80s, early 90s, they were very good down there.
Yeah,
I don't know how they are now. They're maybe out of the bottom of the barrel of the conference, but
I think they're like tied with us, or maybe like 1 point ahead of us.
Okay.
I think they have another win compared to our tie against Concordia. So,
right, gotcha.
So yeah, we'll see how the standings shake out, but we're just worrying about a weekly basis. Just coming in and getting better week by week. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes, but. Yeah, I'm thankful to be a part of the team just overall. So it's a wonderful thing.
Obviously, you're one of many Minnesotans on the team. The team mostly made up of Minnesotans?
Yeah. So we have, I think, like 2 guys from California, and then 2 guys from Sweden, actually. So that I mean, that's pretty interesting. But other than that, I think most of us are Minnesota-born. A lot of them played high school hockey here, mostly in the cities, like Blaine and Cretan, Durham Hall, and those kind of schools. But other than that, a lot of them, most of them played juniors for 3 years. A couple played for 2. But I think they all stayed in Minnesota, so it was easy for our coaches to scout them and bring them to Bethel.
9:38 to go here in the second. 3-0 is our score. Flyers lead. And they're still on the attack once again. Stevens back to Dempsey, the one-timer, and getting a piece of that one was Hansen. Puck picked up here now by Blake Carlson. He's taken out of the play. Held in at the left point there by Moore. Stevens tries to move it in. Intercepted here by the Blue Jackets and Noah Peterson. He gets crunched along the end wall. Play continues on. Now Stevens crunches a player into the corner. There's a shot, and that one wide. A penalty, I think, is going to come up here against Stevens. Most likely an elbow call coming up, as it looked like he got Lucas Olson up pretty high.
Yeah, it looks like the Flyers are taking up their physicality a little bit. They're taking a lot of bodies down in the corner, and Stevens just caught with his elbow high a little bit there. But we'll see how Cambridge can control this power play. Let's see if they can get some zone time, and hopefully the Flyers can kill it off and prevent them from getting any good scoring chances.
Going back to you playing at Bethel and that, is there anybody that you're playing on the same team with that you maybe played against in your high school days?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, when we played Apollo, they had this guy named Brandon Baker. He was a defenseman. Yep. I'm playing with him right now, and we kind of have a little beef with each other. I always bring up the Apollo game, then he'll always, give me a little hard time for the section finals right after we beat those guys. But I just say, hey, you know what? You were ranked 3rd in the state, and we went into your place and beat you 4-1. Yep. So I mean, it's all fun and games, but we have a lot of fun with it, and we bond pretty well on and off the ice. So it's cool.
Here's the Flyers on a short-handed attempt here. Is 0 for 1 on the power play so far. Excuse me, this is the first power play, 8.8% for the Cambridge Blue Jackets. Played up to center ice. And it'll be dumped in once again here. They have given up 5 short-handed goals this year. Cambridge-Isanti, and the Flyers have scored 1, that being the 8th grader Matthew Philippi. 1:10 to go here on the power play, 8:15 to go in the second. Here's Gabe Hirsch firing it once again back down deep into the Blue Jackets' end.
Nice stick by Robbie Helgeson there to create that opportunity.
Here's Philippi, and he just got robbed of a possibility of his second shorthanded goal of the season, as he got a great pass once again on the end wall there from Gabe Hirsch. Hirsch once again working down there. Here's Philippi in the left circle, pulls it to his forehand, shot, a net save is made, rebound is loose, score! And I think Hirsch got the goal. Gabe Hirsch, he just mucks it up in the middle there. He's not the biggest of guys, and he, I believe, got it by the netminder Hansen. There is a little conversation here between the Cambridge players and the referee. Let's see if they're going to discuss this to say if it was a goal or if maybe the net came off before it crossed the line.
Interesting play. Gabe working really hard, Hirsch working really hard in the corner down there, creating an opportunity for Philippi out in front of the net, and then obviously Hirsch, being the great player he is, comes right to the net. going to see here if this is a goal. Not sure if it's going to stand.
Yeah, they're having a conversation right now, all three officials, as you can see there. With 7:49 to go, a potential shorthanded goal here, and most likely Hirsch would be the one that gets it. Now we're going to have explanations here on what's happening.
I think they might be calling a penalty on Cambridge for the shove out in front of the net after Gabe scored. Might be a penalty here, and maybe not. We're going to find out here in a couple seconds.
Well, it looks like they said 9 for the goal, so I thought I just heard them say that.
Okay.
Hirsch. Assist to number 27, Matt Flippy. Time of the goal.
All right, so they're actually talking about afterwards then more so than anything is maybe the penalty. So a shorthanded goal for Gabe Hirsch, and for Gabe, that's his 6th of the season goal, his 9th in his career, and his first shorthanded goal ever in his career. He's now just one behind you.
Oh, no, Gabe's a great player. I mean, obviously last year playing as a freshman, he's looked at as a veteran this year, and that's, that might be tough for him at times, but I think he's handling it very well. He's playing just like he was last year, and that's exactly what this Flyers team needs him to do.
Hey, you mentioned that, too, and last year, he being the lone freshman on the team, all his buddies were playing Bantams. Now they're all with him now, so he's got to feel even more excited to have them up.
Yeah, and he can, and they're going to look to him as a leader now, and that's something that he can build off of for the rest of his career now. Being able to hop in as a freshman and play some big-time minutes on our third line last year, so good for him. I mean, he's off to a really good start this year, and let's hope he can keep it going just like the rest of the young guys.
Nolan Bjorgi took the shot there. The save is made. That's the 41st save already made, Andrew Marod, and we're just barely way through the game.
Incredible.
Wow. The pace they're going, they could get close to almost 80 to 85 shots.
I don't know if I've ever seen that in a high school hockey game. So maybe this is good luck for the rest of the season here.
Got a penalty coming up here now as some extracurricular activity away from the play. And roughing is going to be the call. Penalty time, by the way, has expired now. So we're back to 5-on-5. And Cambridge-Isanti was on the power play, and we scored. And they're going to have a penalty now called against them as Jacob Zebath is going to go to the box 2 minutes for roughing. So now the Flyers will go on to the power play for the third time tonight, where they are 1 for 2.
Now, here's that first unit again with Jennings on the point. That's just like that last goal on that power play. Let's see if George Moore can get that puck on the weak side. He should be wide open. They might suck over to Jennings hard, and Jennings can look backdoor for George down in the about the circle area there.
All right, here's Josh Jennings being shadowed right there by Shabilla. Comes out to center ice. Jennings trying to move it ahead, and it is at least dumped in across the line. Philippi able to keep it in and poke checked away there. Back out to center ice it comes. Picked up here by Moore. Minute 20 to go here on the power play. 6:30 to go in the second. 4-0 is their score. Little Falls leads. Played around the boards. Stevens, Jennings, shot, save made. And that time a wrist shot rather than a slap shot. And Hansen makes the save, his 42nd of the game. So still 6:21 to go here in the second. Faceoff coming up in the right circle to the left of the netminder, Marcus Hansen, who, like you said, coming in, he had given up 7.25 goals against and a save percentage of only 79%.
Wow.
So he's having a great night tonight.
Good for him. This might be a momentum shift for him the rest of the season. We'll see how the rest of this game plays out.
Of course, their other backup goalie is being a forward tonight, so I guess if something would happen to him, I didn't see if they have yet another backup goalie on there, or maybe a JV goalie possibly on the bench. As the puck slides in underneath the netminder Hansen, who makes the save and holds on. Trying to look down there if I can see. Yeah, there is somebody down there.
There is someone down there.
And that might actually be Johnny Zebarth, which would be one of the coach's sons, one of the two.
Power play number 2 coming up here, the second unit.
5:54 to go here in the second. Still in the power play for another 43-second of the Flyers. They're 1 for 2 tonight on the power play. Majorly, wrist shot, save made by Hansen. Trying to jam it home there that time was Kaczynski Helgeson, unable to do so. And the puck flips out of play, and we'll get a face-off, I believe, in the Blue Jackets' end. The goaltender's coming out now. Did he have a goalie issue, or he has actually a glove issue here? They're going to switch gloves up here. We went from a gray glove to a white glove.
So he's got all gray pads and a blocker, and now he's got a white glove.
Yeah.
Interesting combo here for Hansen.
Very odd, though, that happened so quickly. There's a penalty coming up here. It's going to go against Cambridge-Isanti, and it's going to be a 5-on-3, a cross-checking call coming up here. And it looks like they're going to send Gavin Zebarth to the box.
Key on this power play for the Flyers is going to be to shrink them down to a very small area of the middle of the ice, so then they can create a 2-on-1 somewhere and get a nice opportunity in the slot or just a one-time goal backdoor. So if they can really keep them compact into the middle of the ice, they can get a nice scoring opportunity here. Maybe look for another Jennings one-timer.
Possibly, especially in a 5-on-3. They're going to set him up that way, too. Try to give him some room. Here's the one-timer, and he just missed it a little bit wide. Back to Jennings once again. 12 seconds left here on the 5-on-3. Rexted will go back to Jennings. One-timer is shot, score! Tipped in front. I think it was Gustafson that tipped it. And it is now 5-0 in favor of the Flyers. And Gunnar Gustafson, he's excited as he's got his 4th of the year.
And there it is. There's that Jennings one-timer. And Gunnar Gustafson being right in the front of the net there, getting that nice tip on the shot. Great play by the Flyers.
So Gustafson should get credit for the goal. Jennings will get an assist, and Rexted should get the other assist. And it will be a 5-0 lead.
Flyers, scorer number 18, Josh Jennings.
Wow, they say Jennings. Wow.
Assist to number 20, Lucas Rexted.
I thought that was tipped in front.
Yeah, that should change. I think Gustafson definitely got a stick on that for sure.
Well, you know, as being a Flyer hockey player, that just because you might have scored a goal, throughout the evening, head coach Tony Kuchar will take a look and make sure who gets credit for the goals, doesn't he?
Yeah, he takes quite a bit of time to make sure he gets everything right. But, you know, that stuff really shouldn't matter who gets the goal as long as your team is winning.
So regardless, right now, Josh Jennings has his 2nd of the night. And a power play goal, his 2nd power play goal of the night. And they're still on the power play here for another minute 26. As that was just about 3 seconds left on the 5-on-3. So back on the power play, Stevens coming in. 5-0 score here. Shots are 49-9. Trying to get it back to Jennings. Here's now Parnell with a partial breakaway, and a good job by Philippi to come back. Parnell does get a shot off, and the save made there by Kuchar. And a penalty coming up here, though. And that'll go against Philippi. So it'll even things up here at 4-on-4 with 4:34 to go in the 2nd.
Regardless of a penalty, I think that's a great play by Philippi there, recognizing the breakaway and hustling all the way back. He was a good 10 feet behind him, caught up to him, and got a stick. And unfortunate for him, you know, that's a penalty. But at the same time, he saved a goal, and now we're going to get some 4-on-4 hockey for about a minute or so.
Now at the college level, what do they do? Do they do, if you go to overtime, do they take guys off, or do you still play 5-on-5, or how do they do that? I don't remember.
Yeah, so the first overtime is 8 minutes, and it's 5-on-5.
5-on-5?
Yep, and then if that doesn't work out, then we play a 5-minute 3-on-3.
Okay.
So it's kind of just like the NHL where they play a 3-on-3.
And if that's still tied, do they go to a shootout, or do they?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the third thing then. So they do determine an extra point that somebody gets.
Exactly. Yep.
Gotcha. Couldn't remember that. It's been a while since I've even watched college hockey as of late.
Well, hopefully you can make a trip down to the Schwann Super Rink.
Might have to do that.
Maybe catch a game or two.
Yeah, what's it like playing in the Schwann Super Rink, by the way?
I've played there a few times. You know, Bethel has their own rink there. So, like, you know, the Schwann Super Rink in Blaine has got 8 different rinks, 4 in the front and then 4 in the back. But ours is rink 5, so it's kind of right in the middle of the whole complex. But it's really nice. It's a well-maintained arena, and the ice is really nice. It's not too hard, but it's not too soft, so it's kind of right in the middle there, so you're not, you know, drenched with sweat. But other than that, yeah, it's a wonderful facility to play in. It's well-maintained, and the ice is very nice also. So,
what's the fan support like, I guess, out there? Do you get a decent crowd, or is it kind of sparse?
I mean, it's kind of a mix or so. It depends also when we play, because sometimes we play during the week, sometimes we'll play Friday and Saturday. But typically, Saturdays they draw a pretty good crowd. There are a lot of parents that come because a lot of those kids are from the cities, so it's not too far of a drive for the parents. But also we do get some pretty good student support, and it's a lot of fun to play in front of them.
All right, about 4 seconds left here, and then Cambridge will have a short power play. Now they do for the next minute here, as the puck just dumped into the Flyer zone. Picked up here by Dempsey. He'll play it off the glass and out to center ice. Down to 3:20 to go here in the second, and a 5-0 lead for Little Falls. Up at center ice now, this is Noah Peterson. Peterson will leave it off there for Gavin Zebarth. Zebarth tried to pass it down low there. I think they were looking for a tip there maybe by Bauer, but it went over his stick. Back to the point, it comes down to Carlson. He'll play it over to Zebarth. Gavin Zebarth with a shot, and just getting a piece of that one is the netminder, Dane Kuchar, and he holds on to it. Boy, that looked like it was almost going right under the pads.
Yeah, it was pretty close, but good job by the Flyer defense back there. Dempsey and Jennings back there allowing Dane to see that puck come through. That one, it looked like it was a little bit tough for Dane, but throughout the night, the Flyer defense have been doing a really good job of allowing Dane to see where the puck's coming and make a save.
That's one thing that is stressed a lot on this Flyer hockey team is defense, isn't it?
Yeah, it for sure is. Blocking shots and staying in the passing lanes is a big thing. That's what we're known for, is we block shots and we stick in the passing lanes. So the Flyers are doing a pretty good job of that right now.
Here's a chance down low and another save by Kuchar that time as Jacob Zebarth had a good opportunity. Coming out is Philippi, 5-on-5, and now a penalty going to come up. Nope, they're going to say a delayed offside, and it's played back out to center ice. Philippi gets back in on the play. Kuchar will leave it back as he gives it off there to Inez, who has some problems with it. Now it'll be Jennings, throw it off the glass out to center. Blake Carlson picks up the loose puck, throws it over to an open wing. It's briefly touched there by Shabila. And then the shot actually goes off of Parnell as he was just across the blue line. I think the play is onside. It is. And it's picked up here by the Flyers and carried out to center ice by Jennings. He dumps it back in inside of 2 minutes to go here. Philippi tries to get there first, over skates it. Now it's picked up by Gustafson. In the corner it goes. Played back here by Carlson. He'll cycle it around, but now Kaczynski-Helgeson has it. He'll play it into the open corner. Back to get there first that time with it is Ryan Olson for Cambridge-Isanti. And Kaczynski-Helgeson has it once again. Falls down at the blue line, but fires it into the right corner. Philippi goes into that corner. Now passes it back to Gustafson, and a little given off the back of the shoulder. Hansen in the net, and he scores! And it's 6-0 in favor of the Flyers, and now we know for sure that Gunnar Gustafson has got at least one goal now tonight. As a nice job there as the goal line extended. He just threw it off the back of the netminder and into the net.
Yeah, and that all started with Robbie Helgeson dumping that puck into the corner, and then Stevens recognizing that he's all by himself back there, and then he saw Gustafson slip down, and Gunnar was able to capitalize on a great play by Stevens, winning the puck battle.
So a good job there as a goal scored by Gustafson, and it's now 6-0 in favor of the Flyers. And if this score remains this, we will go to running time to start the third period as we're down to the final minute here of period number 2. And the shots are 52-13. And of course, if we do go to running time, that might minimize the shots a little bit too here in the third period. And we might also see maybe some of those fourth liners come out too.
Yeah, good chance for the younger guys to get some more playing time, and we'll see.
A lot of young guys out there already getting a lot of playing time.
Right, yeah. I mean, 12 sophomores, and that's crazy, but
12 sophomores, a freshman, and an 8th grader.
Talk about a young team,
just
but very talented.
Actually, a couple of freshmen they have. Even the DJ Kicker, the backup goaltender, is a freshman.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But he's Bantam eligible along with George Moore and then Matt Philippi. So 3 Bantam eligible players got moved up this year.
Yeah.
Here's Buckaloo now with a shot. He clanked the iron. He got the elbow there as Buckaloo was looking for his second of the season. There's a shot from the high slot there. That one by Rexted, who's got a goal tonight. And Hansen makes the save and holds on with 6.5 seconds to go and 6-0 lead for Little Falls.
A nice job by Buckaloo coming off the wall there and taking a nice shot on goal. Unfortunately, couldn't get it about an inch lower to get that bar down, but that's just unfortunate, and that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you just don't get those shots. But, hey, it was a great play off the wall, and just wasn't rewarded just enough yet. But we'll see.
Jennings right off the draw, blast right on net save. Here's a shot at the horn, fired wide by Rexted, and that will end the period. And looking at the score clock, well, 37 shots after one period of play. You can add another 18 more, and it's now 55-13 in the shot category, and they now lead comfortably 6-0. And Andrew, I know you've been in some of these kind of games before. What do you expect in a third period, and what really does the team with the lead really want to do? I know the one thing is you want to stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to, force anything that you shouldn't. Obviously, playing maybe your best guys not as much. But also, this is now a great opportunity for those young kids who aren't getting a ton of playing time to now get playing time in a game where they have nothing to lose, where they can just go out there, have fun, and just try to work hard and get better at things that they may struggle with.
All righty, so 2 periods complete here at the Exchange Arena. Boys High School hockey tonight on Flyer Media Productions. And our score is Little Falls 6, Cambridge-Isanti nothing. We will take a break. We'll come back. We'll give you a recap of the second period, and we'll have the third period coming up in about 10 minutes. Until then, we will see you in a few.
It's subject to change. But yeah, I'm loving science. I love the classes that I take. So we'll see how the rest of that goes, and hopefully I'm pointed in the right direction.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So then, where would you like to end up? I guess I know it's kind of early to think that, but obviously you would like to coach hockey.
Yeah.
Is that what you want to coach?
Yeah, for
hockey?
sure.
Okay.
I mean, if I have to start out in a different sport, I will. But I mean, ideally, hockey, having that college background would be pretty cool. But ideally, I'd love to stay in the area. And I mean, of course, it'd be incredible to coach, in your hometown for Little Falls. But also at the same time, I wouldn't mind like coaching Brainerd or St. Cloud or just Alexandria, wherever it takes me. So. I've got my eyes and ears wide open, so whatever kind of comes my way will come, and we'll see.
That's good.
Yeah.
You gotta have that. We gotta kind of have a willingness to decide wherever you want to go. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you just never know where life's gonna take you.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need to take a break, that's up to you. We got probably about maybe 6-7 minutes.
I'm doing okay. I kind of had a long break that last time, so I'm doing all right.
Alrighty. Check a couple scores here. Give Jamie an update. Give me an update. Or give him an update.
Yeah, wish that we wouldn't have to play Cathedral in our section.
Yeah.
They're incredible this year. And even last night, I went and watched Alexandria and Brainerd play.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, my dad asked me just in the middle of the day yesterday, he's like, how would you feel about going to the Brainerd-Alexandria game? And I said, well, I guess I don't really have anything else going on, so I may as well. So I watched a couple of my buddies play for Alexandria. And
who's that?
I played with Ben Doherty, Jack Westland, Ben Jensen.
Yep.
Those guys are...
The Jensen kid was really good out here on... when he played the Flyers a little.
Was he?
Yeah, he really stood out.
Okay. Yeah.
He number, let's see.
9, I think.
Number 9, right?
Yep.
So I was going to say 9. Yeah, I mean, obviously Doherty and Westland, they stand out, but he really stood out, because I think did he play second line? Because I think they had Caleb Strong in that first line.
Yep. Caleb Strong had 2 goals last night.
Yeah.
I think, let's see here. I think Ben Jensen last night was on their third line.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, they had a freshman playing above him, which was pretty interesting. I don't know if you recall any freshmen playing for Alexandria when they came here, but
well, I could find out real quick.
Yeah. Other than that, those 3 I know pretty well. Last year.
Josiah Ronholtz.
Yep, that was him. Yep. He, I don't think he scored a goal last night, but he may have hit the post or something. But anyway, but then last year, one of my good friends, Jack Powell, state tournament hero kind of.
Yeah, I know. He was really talked up a lot, wasn't he?
He was. But he
played really well.
He played exceptional in the playoffs and just throughout the entire year. He held their fort down back there really well. And obviously now he's playing in the NAHL with the Aberdeen Wings, so that's really good for him, I think. Good player. A lot of people want him to end up at St. Cloud State. I don't know if he'll go D1 or not, but I think he's definitely good enough. Obviously, he'll have to mature a little bit and play in the NA for a little while, but maybe it could happen. Anything could happen. Landon Johnson's trying to go D1 right now, playing in
what's he up to?
Landon is playing, I think it's like the MJHL or something like that. It's Manitoba Junior Hockey League.
What team does he play for?
I don't know 100% off the top of my head. He started out with the Wilderness, and then the Wilderness cut him.
Yep.
So he went to the Steinbach Pistons.
That's in Manitoba.
Yep. And then he was traded from Steinbach to Swan Valley, maybe?
Yeah, that'd be well.
Okay. So now he's playing in Swan Valley, and he's got a good friend that he and I used to play with. Josh Massieri from Pequot.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Massieri.
Yeah, those 2 are playing together right now.
Okay.
So.
He had a brother too, didn't he, Massieri? Was it Tony or something? I think he was actually coaching here for Northern Lakes. There was a Massieri, unless it was a Brad for Northern Lakes. They were here on Tuesday.
Yeah, I have no idea. That's a good question.
It's funny because I can say I'm an international broadcaster because when I was up in Warroad, I was in 2 years in Warroad, and do you remember that Warroad Lakers, the amateur team, the men's team?
I don't know if I do.
They would go into Manitoba and play games, so I'd broadcast games from Manitoba back to Warroad.
Yeah.
So Steinbach I'd go to, and I didn't go to Swan Valley, but Gary DeShane. Winnipeg and places like that I went to. So.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
So we did a lot of that. So it was kind of in that same. Obviously that was a amateur men's league. He was in obviously juniors, but a lot of those towns also had a junior team too. So.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's a big thing up there, definitely.
Oh yeah.
How many games does he play there?
How many has he played?
How many will they play in a year?
I think it might be 50.
Okay.
I think it's a higher number.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think every junior team plays a high number of games. But also, I know for Steinbach he wasn't playing a lot, but he recently just got traded 2.5 weeks ago or so. And I think he's been playing in almost every game since then for his new team. And they're actually better than Steinbach, which is kind of, you kind of think, really, like interesting.
Chemistry sometimes is,
Yeah. So he's, I think he's got like 2 power play assists or something like that in back-to-back games. So, good for him. I'm really rooting for him, and I hope he can continue playing for as long as he can. Because, you saw last year how much he loves this game, how much he pours his heart into it. So, I want him to succeed as much as he can because he deserves it for how hard he's worked over his whole life for just hockey in general. And just as a person, his work ethic is just admirable. So
very cool.
Yeah.
Maybe when we start the third period, I'll just ask the question, hey, any of your teammates from the past playing anywhere? And you can mention that. That'd be good.
Yeah.
It's a good lead-in.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Then you can kind of expound upon that. Let's see, 8-1, Cathedral defeated LaFleur.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. How many goals do you think Jack Smith had?
I don't know.
2 or 3, 4?
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't think I have that.
Yeah.
I was going to see if I can maybe.
So I heard Warner's out.
Yeah, he's out for something for a while.
I heard it was a shoulder
Injury, right? Yeah, it was an injury. So.
Okay. Well, interesting.
Jamie said something maybe about 3 to 4 weeks. So. It should be about right, because that's what Billy said. He was out at least 3 weeks.
Okay, I heard a lot longer than that.
Oh, really?
A month or 2.
Oh, really?
But obviously, don't take my word for it.
No.
But
I haven't really heard. I heard of it, but I haven't heard how long it was out. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, you ready to go?
Absolutely.
All right, hockey fans, welcome back to the Exchange Arena. 2 periods complete. Our score, Little Falls leading Cambridge-Isanti 6-0. James Hershey along with Andrew Marod getting a chance to talk with the former Flyer. And, before we get into the third period here, I wanted to bring up something. You've had, obviously, other teammates that have graduated. Have you had any other teammates advance on into the hockey world?
Yeah, so one of my best friends, Landon Johnson, well-known guy for his goal-scoring ability as a defenseman, he's playing in the MJAHL, which is a Manitoba Canadian Hockey League in Canada. And he's been kind of back and forth. He was traded a couple weeks ago, but he's settled in with his new team, the Swan Valley Rough Riders or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. He's in his last 4 games, he's got 2 or 3 points. So he's playing well, and I'm really happy for him. I hope that he can continue playing as long as he has been, because he's worked very hard for where he's come. And as a person, just off the ice, you admire his work ethic, and you admire everything that he's done to get where he is now. And I couldn't be more proud of him, and I'm really happy that he's still playing. And
that's awesome.
We kind of get to have that little battle between each other every once in a while, because we're practicing with the team this week and next week. So we'll see if he wants to go one-on-one or something like that, just for funsies, because we're best friends, and that's what we do, is we love to compete with each other.
Absolutely.
So I think it's really awesome that he's he and I both are still playing.
Right.
And it's awesome that we get to share that relationship with each other. So good for him, and I'm really excited for him, and I'm excited to see what's to come for him.
Yeah, that's cool. We'll have to definitely follow, obviously, your career and also his career, too, as we try to do that when there's some Flyers that at least continue on the Flyer hockey side of things. And, of course, there's been a lot of them that have done so, and still with Ben Hanowski still overseas in Germany yet, playing another year of hockey there.
Yeah, that's who, we grew up watching, and we were always fortunate to watch a D1 hockey player. Well, not just one, you had Jared Fessler, too, but no, we were very fortunate to watch a really good group of high school players growing up. And I don't know if Landon was around then. I don't think he was. But anyway, he and I, we always wanted to win together. So it was really good that we could establish that winning presence early to then carry it over into high school success. And obviously, that sophomore year, making a run to the section final as a 4 seed, that was easily Landon and I's favorite hockey memory together. So we were really fortunate to share that together, and bittersweet, obviously, coming back here and wishing you could relive it and play tonight and lace the skates up one more time. Obviously, I still am, but throw on that new gray jersey.
Right.
But yeah, it's super cool.
Well, as a hockey player, when you're a high school hockey player in Minnesota, your one goal is to get to the state tournament. And obviously you saw teams from Little Falls go there, and you had that dream. Unfortunately, it just didn't happen for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's every kid's dream to go to the state hockey tournament. I mean, that's one of the most attended tournaments, I think, in all of America. It's incredible how many people show up for that. So, like, to be able to be a part of that would just be incredible. I mean, obviously, I never got the chance. But when I was younger, I was able to go down and watch some of those guys play. So either way, I was still thankful to even be able to play this game. So it's all good, and I'm just happy to be watching this game tonight here and cheering on a lot of my good friends.
Alrighty, the penalty boxes are empty. The puck is down. The third period is underway. 6-0 is our score. And with that 6-goal differential, Andrew, you know what that means. We are in running time here, at least in the third period, until that differential becomes less than 6. And the only way that's going to happen is if Cambridge-Isanti would score here. And right now they have yet to put one on the board. They have 13 shots in the game, 13 saves for Dane Kuchar. And on the other side, it's been a workman's-like day for Marcus Hansen, as he has faced 55 shots and has 49 saves in the first two periods.
Yeah, unfortunately for Cambridge, the only way that they're going to be able to stop this running time is if the Flyers just stop being so relentless on the forecheck. They have been excellent all night in and night out, so we'll see how the rest of this game plays out, but I don't see the Flyers forecheck slowing down at all.
Let's take a quick look at the scoring summary in the second period. Josh Jennings getting a power play goal. It was Devin Young scoring first to make it 50 seconds in to make it a 3-0 score. Gabe Hurston scores at 9:11 of the period. The assist goes to Matt Philippi, and then a power play goal by Gunnar Gustafsson. They have changed it to Gustafsson on the scoring here now. So Gunnar Gustafsson gets the goal, as we had mentioned in the broadcast originally. Josh Jennings gets one assist. Lucas Rexted gets the other. And then Gunnar Gustafsson at even strength goal at 15:37. Matt Philippi with the lone assist to make our score 6-0. So Gunnar Gustafsson has his 4th and 5th goals of the season after they had that change in the intermission.
Yeah, funny story, but before the game, I was talking to Gunnar a little bit, and I said, I expect 2 goals out of you tonight. And, well, here we are. He's got 2 goals, so good for him.
He's probably lobbying and said, I talked to Andrew tonight, and that has to be my goal because I need 2.
Oh, geez.
So we'll have to ask him if he was really lobbying hard or whatever, but I think they got it right because that puck looked like it was ricocheted into the net. So icing the call here, 14:30 to go, and the clock continues to move. Some score updates for you around the area. It's a final down in Laverne, as it was a 8-1 win for St. Cloud Cathedral over Laverne, as Derek Brown, the former coach of the Laverne Cardinals, goes down there to compete against his old team and his new team, which he's been with now for 3 or 4 years, still plugging along, still ranked number 1 in the state, and they look like a force, don't they?
Yeah, they sure do. I mean, they're playing some good AA teams. I don't know what their upcoming schedule is, but I know they played at least a couple AA teams, and obviously they're still undefeated if they're 8-0 or something like that. But no, they're a complete team. They got everything going for them. They got great defense. They got obviously great forwards in Jack Smith and Blake Perbix and some of those other kids. But yeah, they're going to be a tough team to beat in the playoffs. Obviously, they're the favorites right now to even win the state tournament. So. A lot of talent in Section 6A this year, but we'll see how it all shakes out in playoffs, because that's usually a different story.
There's a shot and a score, and it's now 7-0. And did Buckaloo get that one?
He sure did. He had a nice break and made a nice move on a defenseman. He did a nice little windmill deke there and went 5-hole and slipped it past Hansen.
Had a chance to talk with Ryan Buckaloo in one of the interviews we do. Of course, you remember those interviews we did back as a player, and his favorite player is Joe Pawlowski, of course, of San Jose, and in fact went to his camp, I guess, every year is what he said. Even got a chance to take a picture with the silver medal.
Oh, wow.
Which is really cool. So
that is really cool.
Some cool facts for there. But we were chatting a little bit about, I said, well, normally when I do these interviews, the guys score goals. You got to do that for me. And he didn't get a goal that night, but he's got one now finally, so his second of the season. And it's now 7-0. It was always something that we did, but it seems like when I interviewed one of your teammates or one of the Flyer players, it always seemed like they scored that night for some reason.
Yeah, funny how that works, right?
Yeah, I don't know why it was. Just has so happened to do that. Right now, I see a new fresh line out there. As looks like Archer is out there with Gaiman. We've got Gaiman Deering, and also I think that is
Jake Chakowski.
Chakowski, yeah, there he is.
So good for those guys getting some ice time.
So they're out there right now. Chakowski with it, puts it across the line, intercepted here by Rexted, and they'll dump it back in once again to the Blue Jackets end. They'll play it out to center ice. Picked up here now. This is Tower Morrison getting his first chance to be out there too.
Here comes that Flyers top line.
Speaking of Tower, last time he was out on the ice was against Northern Lakes. He had 2 assists in his first 2 varsity points. Here's now Jennings down low. Puck wide open net there, and a tough chance there for Hirsch. As that puck was just bobbling a little bit there, and he couldn't get a clean shot. Otherwise, he had a whole net to shoot at.
No, not a lot of puck luck for Gabe tonight.
No, not at all.
Well, we'll see here. He's still got a whole period. About 11 minutes or so left to go here.
11-10 and counting. So Cathedral a winner tonight. They win 8-1. And my counterpart, Jamie Pettit, tonight was in Wadena, as it was River Lakes defeating Wadena 7-1. And the shots there were 46-13 in favor of River Lakes in that one. And girls hockey score after 2 periods of play. Brainerd Little Falls now leading Bemidji by a score of 4-1. Of course, I know that you had some classmates last year that got to play in the state tournament. I'm talking about like Katie Orth and Grace Schulte, a couple of the girls that played on the varsity team. And what did they give you? What it was like down there in that experience? Did you guys get a chance to go down there at all or not?
Me and a couple buddies, actually Landon and I actually went down there and
for the Edina game then?
Yes, yep, for that opening game, and we watched them get beat, unfortunately.
Right.
Which
eventually they were the champs anyway.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, that Edina team was really, really good.
They were stacked. They had, I think, 8 or 9 Division I girls on that team.
That's incredible.
I know.
But yeah, we were happy for them that they were able to defeat Roseau in overtime and break the seal and get to their first state tournament. And it was awesome to have some of our classmates be a part of that first state tournament team. So
absolutely.
Really cool for them.
So even though maybe the boys didn't get a chance, you had some girls at least to get for the first time ever,
absolutely.
Which was really cool.
Yeah, representing Little Falls.
I always joke, too, that, it's the first time ever a Brainerd hockey team had gone to state, at least at the high school level, and it was a girls' team, which is great, but it also took a Piers girl to get them to go to state at Ella Calucci. And
that
of course,
is cool.
The Piers Pioneers are used to going to state in a lot of things, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe that was a little bit of good luck there.
I think it was.
For the Flying Warriors.
Here is Philippi coming out to center ice. Speaking of a Piers player, Adam Bubba Funk was in net tonight and got a win in the JV game, 7-1. And here's a shot to goal for the Flyers, and they're up now 8-0. And let's see who gets credit for this one. Is Buckaloo getting another one?
I think it was Robbie
Helgeson. Yep, it was. You're right. Kaczynski Helgeson.
I think it was a shot from the point, and Robbie was right there for the rebound. He had the whole net, so.
I think we're going to get a goalie change here, too, as Dane Kuchar coming over, and I think DJ Kicker is going to get his chance to play some varsity here.
What a great opportunity for Kicker here to come in and just play a few minutes and have a lot of fun with the guys.
Yeah, he's the freshman, only 5'4", and he's coming into the net. Where's the number 1? So DJ Kicker in at the varsity level. And it's the first time this year that Dane Kuchar will be sitting on the bench for a little bit in the third period.
Maybe some.
13, Tower Morrison, and number 7, Joe Majorli. Time of goal, 8 minutes. Robbie Kaczynski Helgeson from Tower Morrison and Joe Majorli.
There you go, Majorli and Morrison get the assist on that goal scored by Robbie Kaczynski Helgeson, his 3rd of the year. And you were going to say about with Dane getting a chance to watch the game maybe a little bit?
Yeah, maybe get a little bit of rest, some much needed rest, obviously, after playing in every minute of every game this year. So, good for him. Obviously, he played well tonight. He had 14 shots, 14 saves. So good job for Dane. But also give credit to that Flyer defense for allowing him to see that puck all night. Good for Dane and good for the Flyer defense also.
Absolutely. Play down at center ice here by Majurley. He'll dump it back in.
And on that goal, too, Tower Morrison getting another assist.
Yeah,
so good for him.
He's got 3 assists now this week. This must be his week.
Yeah, maybe more opportunities for him to come in the future also. So
absolutely.
Credit to Tower Morrison for playing well, obviously, tonight and this whole week.
Icing is the call. Face-off going to come back down in the Cambridge-Isanti. And, well, after this game tonight, Andrew, they'll have a short break, and then the Flyers will come back for their holiday tournament. And you've had a chance to play in the holiday tournament before. Now, did you also play when they went down to St. Cloud the one year, or that to the Granite City one, or was it just always you just did the holiday tournament? Because there was 2 years. And see, I'm just all these years. This is the 13th year for me doing Flyer hockey. I can't even remember when that was. They did take a 2-year break at least away from the holiday tournament.
Yeah, I always played in the holiday tournament. We never.
That was here?
Yeah, we never went to St. Cloud or anything like that.
That might have been actually maybe the year or two after that 09 class that they did that. But then Tony got it started back up here once again. And it's always a fun thing to be at home, for one thing, during the holidays, and also to bring in some other teams that a lot of times you don't ever get a chance to play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, I think last year was the first year that, it would have been my sophomore year. We had Mandan, North Dakota come. Yep. I never heard of Mandan, North Dakota, so, I mean, it was kind of cool to play a different team from a different state in a high school game, so that was kind of cool. And then last year, my senior year, we played West Fargo Cheyenne.
Yes.
So a couple North Dakota teams getting in the mix, so that's kind of interesting. I think they are coming back again, I believe.
They are coming back, but unfortunately this year they're not going to have, I think they had like 18 seniors on their team last year. Now they have like 18 sophomores, so they're very young this year. I think you got beat by them last year, didn't you? I'm sorry to bring that up, but I do. Was it like a 5-4 game or something like that?
It was, yeah, and we did not play very well that night. And obviously, it was a rough comeback, trying to get ready for the next game.
I don't mean to bring up some bad memories there, but what I'm curious about is what head coach Tony Kuchar is like when you guys have a loss. A loss is one thing, but maybe a loss you shouldn't have. How is Tony in the locker room normally?
Exactly.
That's one thing we don't get a chance to ever see as broadcasters. Another penalty coming up here, as there was a penalty just called Devin Young, as it was a roughing call. He's in the box for another minute 30, and now yet another penalty coming up, an interference call. But getting back to that Kuchar comment, I guess, what is Tony like, I guess, when there's a loss that maybe shouldn't have been a loss?
Yeah, so it's just, he expects a lot out of us. He wants us to have a high character and have integrity also. So he, obviously when we lose, it's one thing, but when we get outworked, that's another thing. Our motto is that we never get outworked, especially in our building, but anywhere. We're a hardworking team, and we never get outworked. That's our big motto. And obviously, West Fargo Cheyenne, they outworked us that night, and he was pretty upset with us, not for the fact that we lost, but that we got outworked and outplayed. So it was pretty disappointing.
Here's a save by Kicker, and then some shoving after the whistle. Another penalty was called. It was, as we mentioned, it was an interference call, and that was against Rexted. Nice play by DJ Kicker to make the save. One thing I was going to ask, too, is, does this make Tony upset a little bit? You're up 8-0, and you've taken 2 penalties when you're up 8-0.
I mean, it's a little bit of bad discipline, but also, sometimes you just can't help it. Obviously, Rexted going for the puck there and taking the body, and it's just unfortunate. That's the game of hockey, but also it's also important to have discipline. And Gabe obviously was kind of sticking up for his goaltender there after the Cambridge-Isanti player was kind of in Kicker's face a little bit. So credit to Gabe for sticking up for the goalie. Maybe not a necessary play when you're up 8-0, but also just a little bit unfortunate.
Out at center ice here, still 1 penalty on the clock yet for 35 seconds. 3 minutes to go in this one. And an 8-0 lead for Little Falls. Icing coming up. And the old cardinal sin when you're on the power play, having the icing. One thing we were going to say, too, which we talked about on Tuesday, Hockey Day Minnesota is coming up. And it'll be coming up on January I think it's January 19th, if I remember right. And there will be actually an all-day coverage here on Flyer Media Productions starting at 10:30 in the morning with a girls U12 game, followed by a couple of other games, and then a Bantam game, and then a JV game, and then a varsity game against Fergus Falls. So Flyer Media Productions all day long is going to be covering the games starting at 10:30 till basically 10 at night for Hockey Day in Minnesota right here in Little Falls.
That's really cool. I mean, I think that's really the first time that we've really gotten the ability to play on Hockey Day Minnesota. When I was growing up and throughout my high school career, we never really got to play on Hockey Day Minnesota, but that's something that's really cool for not only the hockey team but the whole community as a whole, to be able to be a part of Hockey Day Minnesota and watch some hockey games. And credits to Flyer Media Productions for putting it on all day. That's awesome.
Yeah, that'll be great. I think the parents and that are going to kind of help out with the broadcast and all that stuff. So once again, mark your calendars. That's Saturday, January 19th. And, of course, the end-all will be that varsity game against Fergus Falls, which is a very important section game, and going to playing against the Otters.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think 2 of my 3 years that I played, we played them in the playoffs, and we went 1-1, and they both went to double overtime.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what kind of skill level they have or, what they have as a team. It's always going to be a good game. It's always a battle with Fergus Falls. You talk about a rival. That's probably Little Falls' biggest rival up to date. That being Fergus Falls.
Another penalty here on the Flyers. Kaczynski Helgeson to the box, 2 minutes. And so pretty much he's going to have to sit out the rest of the game as we're down to the final minute to go here in an 8-0 lead for Little Falls. And the Flyers are going to improve to 6-4 on the year. And that's where the Flyers, for the most part, probably pretty close to where you'd think they would be. Maybe the St. Paul Johnson game they could have possibly won. But other than that, looking at the schedule, it's probably right where they should be right now.
Yeah. And I mean, the record obviously does matter. But at the same time, it's all about how you get better in those few weeks that you're playing. Because, I mean, you can always look at the season and the record as a whole. But overall, if you look at a weekly basis on how you're playing, I think that's really important. I think that is what the Flyers should really focus on, is a weekly progression to get ready for that January month where they got to play Cathedral and Sartell and all those tough section opponents. So I think it's crucial that they just continue to work day in, day out every week.
You can tell you were a student of the game by Tony Kucha. He totally did.
Oh, gosh.
8-0 is the final as the Flyers come up with the victory in a combined shutout for Dane Kuchar along with DJ Kicker. That's always cool, too, to have the shutout in the game.
Absolutely.
So an 8-0 win, your final score here as the Flyers improve their record to 6-4 on the year. Cambridge-Isanti, the Blue Jackets, will drop their record to 2-7. We're going to get a chance here in just a couple of minutes to talk with the head coach of the Little Falls Flyers, and we'll do that here in just a moment. But let's recap this game here. And the first period, a close period, just 2-0 after 1 period to play. And in fact, we had said it was 1-0 late in the first period, and the Flyers had outshot Cambridge-Isanti almost 4-1 at one point.
Yeah, and I mean, credit to Cambridge for sticking around and hanging around as long as they could. Hansen playing a great game behind the net there, and obviously you got to give the credit to the Flyers offense in this one. I mean, they were all over the Cambridge-Isanti defense. It was pretty amazing how well they were able to forecheck and establish a body and a scooper and able to find the guy in the soft spot in the area of the ice and be able to create scoring chances all night. So credit to the Flyers for playing a great game, but also credit to the Cambridge-Isanti goaltender Hansen for playing a great game also.
Yeah, he did. He had faced 62 shots and had the 54 saves, and the combined shutout once again by DJ Kicker and Dane Kuchar. 18 shots, 18 saves, and the win for Little Falls. And now they're on now to the holiday tournament, as that will be coming up here next week after Christmas. The first game will be coming up on the 27th when they take on Fargo Cheyenne, trying to get a little revenge from last year. And then after that, it'll be Wilmer and North Branch. Well, I guess we're not going to get Tony Kuchar to come up, but we're going to get somebody better, somebody that I used to call Mr. Mac because he scored all the goals at the St. Cloud Municipal Arena. And of course, the Mac. We're talking about assistant coach Wesley Witashik. And Wesley, thanks so much for joining us tonight, and congratulations on the win. I guess your comments about this game. I mean, you outshoot this team in the first period. It was 35-7, but you only had 2 goals to show for it.
Yeah, their goaltender played well. You know, we got pucks to the net. I don't think we really had many quality chances. They're just kind of shots from the perimeter. So, you know, after that first period, we told the guys, hey, we got to get to the net, find the way to get there, and they did, and we buried some pucks.
One thing I noticed that you guys have been doing is trying to work on the power play, and tonight you got some power play opportunities, and you've been setting up Josh Jennings for some openings, and he's had some opportunities.
Yeah, Josh has probably got one of the best shots on our team, so we kind of figured over the last couple weeks we've been struggling on our power play, and we just came to a conclusion that we just got to get pucks to the net, and Josh is going to be the guy that's going to take one-timers and, you know, just try to get, like I said, get pucks to the net, and that's kind of our game plan on our power play, and it's been working the last couple of games. So, you
know, you win this game 8-0. Is there something in this game that you still say, boy, we need to work on this or we need to work on that?
You know, I think in every game, no matter if you win or lose, you still have some things you want to be more crisp on. You know, like breaking the puck out, for example. I don't think our breakouts were super clean tonight, but you know, there's always stuff we got to work on. Nobody's ever perfect, right? I guess my college coach always told me you're never as good as you thought you were, and you're never as bad as you thought you were. So, you know, watching it on film, we'll watch it back, and we'll see how things go and go from there.
Got Andrew Marod with us tonight. I'm sure Andrew's got a question here for Wesley Witashik. Fire away.
Oh, geez. You put me on the spot.
I put you on the spot, didn't I?
Well, how'd you think the boys played tonight?
I thought the boys played well. You know, I thought we had a lot of energy right out of the jump, and we moved the puck around. I think that third period we started getting, everyone wanted to get a point, and became point night for the guys, and we struggled towards the end there. But, you know, I think the guys played well. I'm actually proud of the effort they put forth. I think we played a full game today. You know, it's a good step going towards break here, and once we get into our Christmas holiday tournament and all that stuff. So I think we played well, and I'm kind of proud of the boys tonight for the level that they came out and play.
You got 10 games in now. Of course, you got a sophomore class here. This is the first time they played the varsity level. 12 of those kids are sophomores. You got a freshman and an 8th grader. How have they handled really the first 2 months almost of the grind of hockey here?
Better than I think a lot of us expected. You know, with a young team like that, those guys, they've never been through it. They don't really know what to expect. And you know, we going into the season, we knew, hey, we're going to be young. We're going to take some lumps and bumps. And, you know, as a staff, we kind of go into our office after a period and go, hey, that was a bad one. We just got to figure out how to fix it. But I think they've managed to do an okay job. You know, we've had a couple tough losses, but you can tell that they have a compete level that, you know, like the prior teams had that were good. So, you know, we're looking forward to the future with this group. And, you know, who knows, this year might be a good year too.
Got the holiday tournament coming up next, and 3 decent games coming up, and some good opponents.
Yeah, the holiday tournament will be fun. We got Cheyenne on Friday, and I think we play Wilmer on Thursday, Friday, and then North Branch on Saturday, which will be a good game. They just beat St. Michael Albertville.
Yeah, they did.
So that'll be a good game, good test for us to see, you know, how we match up against, you know, teams from that section. That's like Section 7, right? Or can't remember what section they're in, but
Section
is that 4?
5.
5.
North Branch is in 5.
Yeah, they're in 5. Yep, because they're with Sauk Rapids and those guys. Right?
They're in 5A.
Yeah, so it'll be a good test for us to see how we match up against those guys, and you know, moving forward throughout the rest of the season.
All right. You didn't play hockey at Augsburg, did you?
I did. I played 2 years.
Okay.
Yep.
So Bethel Augsburg battle here.
A little bit.
I think the Aggies are going to take that one, right? Is that even really a debate, Marod?
I mean, I could argue in a few years that we could beat
maybe
Augsburg.
in a few years, but if you just check the rankings right now, I think Augsburg's up towards the top, right?
Yeah, they're in first.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, you got him speechless now.
I know.
He was talking all game long just fine, and then I mentioned that, and all of a sudden that happens.
It's all right. At least he's proud to wear that jacket.
He is.
At least he's playing. That's all that we care about.
And that's great. I mean, it's great to see some of the kids. Obviously, you got a chance to coach Andrew and also Landon that are still getting a chance to play this year.
Yeah, it's great for our guys to go out and have the opportunity to play. You know, and I think nowadays the opportunity is there for a lot of kids if they want it. But obviously, you know, guys like Andrew and Landon, they're dedicated to the game, and they wanted to play, and they did everything they could to get there. And it shows what type of character he has to be a walk-on. You know, I don't think the Bethel coach had any contact before he showed up to campus and said, hey, I want to play hockey. And the Bethel coach saw him and goes, yeah, this kid can play. So it shows, the character that Andrew has, but also the will that he wants to play hockey afterwards. So, you know, and as a coach, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for guys that are going to do that.
How was he for a coach?
Oh, he was wonderful. I love learning from Wesley. Obviously, I mean, we'd have a couple of funny moments where we'd have some corner battles, and, you know, Wesley would always come out with the puck, obviously. But, no, we had a lot of fun coaching. Well, him coaching me and me learning from him. So we had a lot of fun together.
And he had said maybe one day he wants to be in your shoes as be a coach.
Yeah, he should. Andrew's a great kid. He's everything you want a Flyer to be. He's a good student. You know, he shows up every day. He wants to work hard, and that's all we're looking for. You know, we don't need a guy with a ton of skill. We just got a guy that has a little bit of skill and wants to work really hard. You know, because that's what's going to win you games. A ton of skill and not working hard is not going to win you many games. So
very cool.
You know.
All right, the biggest question I got to ask, Wesley, is you're a newlywed, so who's cooking for Christmas this year?
That's a good question. I think she is. You know, we're hosting her family's Christmas, so I think I haven't been told what we're making, so I'm assuming she's cooking.
Okay.
If that's the case, I'm ordering pizzas.
That's a safe bet.
We're going to leave it right there, Wesley.
Pizzas.
Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah,
Happy
you
New
too,
Year.
guys. Thank you.
And once again, we will talk with Wesley, obviously, after the first of the year. We're going to wrap things up here once again. Andrew, a lot of fun hanging out with you, getting to learn more of what's happening in your life, and hopefully you enjoyed this side of things for the first time ever, huh?
Oh, for sure, yeah. I love just, you know, watching the game from up here and being able to watch some of my good friends play and see how they progress. And I'm just excited. Coming off a win tonight, moving into the holiday tournament, now they can gain some momentum for the rest of the season. And just like I said before, just continuing to get better every week. And I think that's huge for them in order to have success in January and then February moving into playoffs, and hopefully they can make a run here.
All right, and good luck to you and Bethel University, too, and hopefully you can make a run and maybe jump over the Aggies, too, eventually here and get the end laugh, I guess, against Wesley Watasha.
Absolutely. We'll see. I mean, we'll see in the next coming years and at the end of this year maybe. It's just fun to mess with him, and he messes with me. It's healthy, it's fun, it's great. I love it.
Awesome. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you, and Merry Christmas to all the Little Falls community out there.
Awesome. And as I mentioned, once again, we have more hockey coming your way. It'll be in January, girls hockey again, and I guess this spot is actually going to be held the next time when we do girls hockey. It's going to be Tim Bjorgi and Austin Bjorgi doing girls hockey, as they will have the Brainerd Little Falls Warriors taking on the Icebreakers from St. Cloud. That'll be on January 8th. That'll be the next broadcast we do have for hockey. And then, of course, we have more boys hockey coming up in January. I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thanks so much for Flyer Media Productions. Once again, Karen Warner and Mark Deal, along with the rest of the students that are behind the scenes, doing an excellent job. It's been a lot of fun in the first half of the season, and looking forward to the second half, too. Have a safe trip back to school, and we'll see you down the road.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Once again, the final score tonight, it was an 8-0 win for Little Falls as they improved to 6-4 on the season. For once again the entire staff behind the scenes of Flyer Media Productions, and also for Andrew Marod, I'm James Hershey saying good night from the Exchange Arena.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. That was sweet. Yeah, it was great. That was a lot of fun.